Hello, 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 and welcome to 52 Weeks of Flow, the podcast that delves into the depths of human potential and the transformative power of flow. My name is Bea-Marie Aning, your guide on this transformative journey. And today I have another amazing guest as we're closing up season 1 of 52 Weeks of Flow. Lauren empowers women to feel energized and confident through optimized nutrition. Her journey, grounded in self-reflection and wellness, fuels a mission to guide others towards transformative self-acceptance. As a qualified nutrition coach, Lauren combines expertise to provide personalized support, inspiring individuals to break free from expectations and embrace confident, authentic living. And I cannot wait because we chatted already a little bit before this, and this is going to be a treat for all of you who have already, thrown all of their New Year's resolutions overboard, because this is going to be the real deal, how to get more well-being into your life and be more confident. So welcome, Lauren.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like you say, we've just had a quick chat and this is going to be so good. I'm really excited to speak today.
This is going to be so good.
I'm telling you right now, it's going to be good. So listen up.
Listen up, everybody. Yes. So let's dive right in. We're still in the beginning of the year, like spring is slowly creeping in, we have more light and everything. And like I said, a lot of people have already probably dropped all of their, New Year's resolutions, their habit changes, whatever. So you are a nutrition coach. You are all about well-being. How do you start your year?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, January brings this like initial push, I think, where everyone throws themselves all in, and then it starts to dwindle slightly towards the end of the month. Maybe it starts to become a bit more challenging. I mean, for me, I am very much like January is such a like turning page for me, so I really see it as like a fresh start, and it's a chance to like maybe leave what hasn't worked or what I haven't achieved behind, and not hold on to that, let go of that, and bring in this fresh energy to go, right, okay, that wasn't working. What do we need to do differently? So yeah, I'm probably one of these that does start January with all these big goals. I mean, something that I do really focus on with my clients and obviously with myself is not taking on too much at that point, taking it one bit at a time, breaking it down. So, I mean, I've been, I still have my own health journeys and my own health goals that I work on. And actually, I've had like a really big fitness goal. Well, I didn't quite get to where I wanted to be with it at the end of last year. So when I came into this year, I said, okay, what do I need to do differently? Well, actually, I was being a bit hard on myself, and I wasn't really getting the results that I wanted. And so I wasn't really feeling motivated about it. And so it was really hard to actually take the action. So instead of just going, right, okay, now I've got to do this every day and we've got to get this goal by the end of January, I actually took a break. My answer was to take a break. I started the year by going, do you know what? I'm not going to worry about that right now. I've got these other priorities. Let's just take a couple of weeks off. And that was how I started it. So it doesn't always have to be throwing yourself completely in. Like it doesn't always work that way. So yeah, so that's how I start the year.
That's amazing. That is absolutely beautiful, because you evaluate, you see what has not been working, and then you change your behavior. Because this is how we actually create change, not by willpower and pushing through because we made a commitment to ourselves 3 years ago that in 2024 we will have a six-pack.
Yeah. 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 I think, the trouble is that we get our ideas of how to be healthy, how to be fit, how to achieve our goals by very much by social media, very much by watching other people, what other people are doing, what's working for other people. And that isn't necessarily what's going to work for you. So, coming into that new year where everyone's going, right, I'm on health kick, it's dry January, it's all these different things. We go, we should be doing that too. Oh, okay. So then we try and do everything. We try to stop drinking. We try to start exercising every day. We try to eat healthy, which is so vague that it's not specific enough. So again, you're not necessarily doing what your body needs. You're doing what you're seeing as healthy on the internet or in the media or in your circles. And it's not actually focusing on you and what you need and what's going on with you.
Yeah. And we talked about this earlier because that brings me back to the topic of what is controlling your life at the moment. And you said it, dry January or veganuary or, exercising like this, or a lot of, New Year's manifestation challenges and all that stuff that we are just blasted from the internet with. And it's like we get so much information. Like, I think the time and the information there is just speeding up at the moment so much that it's hard. Like, okay, I need to sidestep here a little bit, because when I look at my kids, my kids, they grow up with this a lot of information in a short amount of time, and and their brains work with that. They're really content with it. They're really in flow with it in some way, but we're not, because like our generation, we have grown up with the maybe no cell phones. The internet took about 10 minutes to start kind of thing. We had to walk to the next house to see if our friends are there because there was only one phone in the whole village or something like that, And so for our brains to really get into this fast-paced world, in this fast-paced information age right now, and then being confronted, like you said, with all those images, with all those, oh, you should do this, oh, you should do this, oh, you need to do this to feel like this, I think is very, very overwhelming. So when we talk about well-being, what is it that you do with your clients so that they don't get overwhelmed with all that information?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I completely agree. I think everything is, as you say, it's so fast paced now. Everything's coming at you. And I think we feel this pressure. I mean, I work predominantly with women, and I know that this comes up so much, is we feel like we have to do it all. Which just adds to this when you're being bombarded with all these different things that you're supposed to be doing to take care of yourself and take care of your family and fly in your career and everything. You are always looking for things that are going to help you, ways to shortcut that, because you feel like you need to be able to do it all and do it all exceptionally. So that just adds to everything else that's coming at you. But yeah, so I mean, I think that there's a really key piece that's missing when we are being overwhelmed with all of this information, everything that we're seeing, everything that's going on around us, and the expectations we put on ourselves, or maybe we feel are coming from others, is that we don't take the time to slow down. We don't take the time to actually check in with ourselves and how we're feeling. And when we don't do that, we aren't really able to connect with what we need. As I say, we end up looking at what everyone else is doing, or what we think we should be doing, or what we've been taught through maybe diet culture and things like that to improve our health. We need to slow down. We need to have a look at what we're doing. And, as we were talking about a little bit before, is that there can be this detachment from actually what's going on within us and what the things around us are telling us, perhaps. So I think there's a really crucial piece when it comes to our health and our well-being, which is actually just understanding what's going on with ourselves.
Yeah. And what you're touching on is like new technology. I mean, I'm a big fan of new technology. I love all those little gadgets that are out there. But if we rely on them too much and not rely on our own feelings and our own senses, then I think it gets a little bit not dangerous, but out of hand. You know, when we rely onto our smartwatch, who tells us that we had enough to drink. I mean, oh yes, I get it. Dopamine rush, you know. Oh yes, I drank. Click, check, check. When we're checking things, our brain goes like lights up and goes like, yay, we did it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're giving away control. We're giving away the responsibility for ourselves to our smartwatch or to our, you know, wellness bands or to our, trackers, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's such a difficult topic for me because I think there's some fantastic technologies, really absolutely like fascinating stuff. And I think that there's so much you can learn, and there's devices and testing and all these different things that we have access to now that can tell you so much about your body and what's going on. However, I do struggle with this because I think the more we use these devices to tell us if we've moved our body enough, to tell us that we've stood up enough in the day, to tell us that we've slept well, to tell us, that we've eaten the right foods, whatever it is. There's something for everything these days. The more we rely on that, the more detached we become from how we're actually feeling. Mm-hmm. We're already quite far removed from being able to feel into our bodies and understand what's going on. I mean, it's something I've seen a lot. It's something I experienced, actually. I went for a lot of years feeling really, really unwell. I had horrible gut issues. Every day I was in pain. Every day I was rushing back to the bathroom. I had anxiety. I had joint pains. I had just all these signs in my body that something wasn't right. And it really was like an alarm being like, you're not looking after yourself. And I mean, this is probably a story for another time, but I wasn't looking after myself well at all. But I was always looking for something to give me the answers, like something was wrong with me, or you know, I needed the doctors to give me the answers. But actually I wasn't giving my body what it needed, right? And my body was giving me all these signs, but I didn't understand. I didn't put those together, that actually I was doing that damage. I was causing those symptoms in myself. Because I don't think we're taught to understand our bodies like that. We're not taught to listen to our bodies and know what they're telling us. I think my belief personally at that point was that I obviously had some kind of illness or condition, or like I say, something was wrong with me. Actually, there wasn't anything. I was going to the doctors and the doctors were saying, well, no, your tests are coming back fine. Everything's okay. It actually was my responsibility to look after myself. So that was a bit of a side note there, but I didn't know how to tune into my body and what it was trying to say is the point that I'm making. But with these devices, I think when we do have specific conditions, health conditions, or issues that we're trying to manage, I think they can be really, really helpful. You know, glucose monitors, we were talking about blood pressure, things like that. When they are properly managed and it's done with a doctor or something like that who understands the process and why you're doing it and the purpose for it, it can really have a benefit. But I do think there is a problem that I'm seeing where people are becoming so dependent on devices to tell them what their body needs, instead of being able to understand and feel it within themselves.
Yeah. And I love that you pointed that out, the dependence on things that are outside of ourselves, that we're looking for answers outside of ourselves rather than looking inside. That's not just with, wellness or nutrition or food, but it's also with our soul. We know exactly, we know all the answers that we need.
Yeah.
We just need to tap into what that is, and we need to really deeply listen. And I think we forgot how to listen.
Yeah. To that point, something that was really interesting when I was going through those challenges myself, and as I say, I was just really unwell. I was very anxious. I didn't actually know that it was anxiety at that time. It's actually only looking back and learning more about those as I've grown up and worked in different spaces that I recognize that is what I had then. But I didn't sleep well and things like that. And you said about looking to outside things, external things. At that period, I went through like 3 different jobs, I think, because I was trying to control it. I was like, I knew something wasn't right in my life, and I was trying to control it with what was going on outside instead of what was happening within me. So I just kept jumping from all these jobs, thinking, oh yeah, I'm not happy, and I was trying to solve it in the external things, and they weren't the problem. But I couldn't recognize that because I didn't know how to listen in.
Yeah.
So that's now one of the first things that I do when I work with my clients is we do a lot of work around our feelings and the signs our body gives us. And we also look at, what our values are and things like that, to look at how we're aligning ourselves and our actions with what we actually want and what we need. Because again, going back to what we said earlier on, is that we're so influenced by what everyone else is doing and what we see and what we think we should be doing. Quite a lot of the time, we're trying to achieve a health goal that doesn't actually even matter to us, or, we're trying to run 5K because that's what we think we should be doing to get fit, but actually we hate it and it makes us miserable, and there's something better. There's a better way to be moving our body.
Yeah. Oh God, this just touches on a memory that I was thinking about this morning. When I was 20, I was really fit. Like, I was really lean. I went to the gym every day, and I also went jogging. I ran like 10K in under an hour, and just because I thought that this is what I need to do at that moment. And I almost had a 6-pack. Like, I was like, yes, I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm so buff. But I was so miserable at that time. I was in a relationship that just didn't work. It was really uninspiring. Like, everything was uninspiring for me at that time. And the way I tried to control that was by controlling how I see myself, how I could see me in the mirror, and I don't even know. I don't even remember what I ate. I hardly ate anything, I think.
Yeah.
And that brought me from one eating disorder almost to the next, kind of. And until I kind of figure out, okay, why am I doing this? Like, what is happening at the moment? Like, what is the core? What is at the center of me wanting to control something? And that was just because my life was out of control.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are not alone in that. Like that, I think probably any woman that is listening to this, any woman has experienced that at some point. I think it's we just have this standard that's been created that we think we have to hold ourselves to, and it's do you know what is really interesting? So I work with women to help them, help them with health, help them with building body confidence, helping them just generally to feel more energized and better within themselves. But a lot of the people that I work with, they come to me because they want help managing their weight. They want to lose weight. And that's when my journey started as well. That's how I found my way into this realm of nutrition and health and wellness, because that's what I felt like I needed to be happy. So we feel like we need to have this certain image, and we need to look a certain way when we look at ourselves in the mirror. I don't think I have worked with anyone that actually found that confidence, found that happiness by reaching that weight. It was like all the things that they learned about themselves and all the things that they were able to process in going through the journey, all the things that they were able to overcome by empowering themselves, by looking after their bodies, by taking care of nutrition, by moving. Those are the things, if you spoke to any of my clients, those are the things that they would tell you about. They are the big wins, the big gains that they see when they start working on their health, when they start working on their nutrition, whatever part of it is that they need to work on. It's never the body that they end up with that makes them feel happy in the end. It's the growth that they make. It's what they show themselves. It's the strength that they build within themselves by taking care of their body.
Yeah, and there we're coming back to listening to what your body actually needs, and your body needs you to pay attention. And I heard this really, really interesting theory the other day, that most of the time when people are overweight, they know a lot. They're taking in a lot of information about their bodies or about whatever, and they're taking that information in, but they're not embodying the information. And that's why the information keeps on packing onto the body, because it's not coming in. It's not in alignment with where you are or what you do at the moment. And I thought that was really interesting when you look at a lot of politicians who, before they came to power, they were really lean, they were really healthy, and all of a sudden they're more stressed. They get into more, they have to deal with more stuff that's coming in that they cannot digest, and all of a sudden they gain a lot of weight in a very short time.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, because something that I was just going to say is that sometimes what you actually need to do is to do less. Sometimes it's not about moving more, eating less. That doesn't quite make sense, actually, what I was trying to say, but we think we need to go harder on all of these things. And actually sometimes we just need to slow it down and make some space for ourselves.
Yeah. Yes, to really embody and to also feel. Because a lot of the times weight is also an armor for us not to feel. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, literally everything you're saying is like triggering so many memories for me from my personal experience. It's really interesting. But yeah, it's really important. Like, if I can urge you to do one thing today, and any day, is to just take 5 minutes. 5 minutes to look at how your body is feeling, and that's, I did this, I posted about this on my social media this week, actually. I did a check-in with myself, and I shared what I felt through that. And things like my eyelids felt heavy and my toes were tingling. And then it's going, okay, so what is that saying to me? Well, actually, I'd woken up at like 4 a.m. The morning before, and I'd been working all day long. So yeah, of course, my eyelids were heavy. There's not necessarily something that you have to worry about there. It's just raising that awareness so you can look forward to see what you can do to make the next week better and make yourself feel better. I mean, again, particularly if you're feeling some of the ways I was in the past, it's really important to understand what those signs are saying to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And here on this podcast, we talk a lot about flow. We talk a lot about, physical flow, energetical flow, but also your peak performance states. The flow when you are in the zone, when you are just, immersed in everything and everything is just falling into place. Like magic happens all the time, all of the sudden. And I'm wondering, how can you create, that's probably individual, but how can you create like this flow where you for yourself, for your exercise, for your nutrition, for whatever, where you don't have to think about it that much anymore, where it just like works. Can you help me with that? Because this is something that I'm wondering for myself. How can I do that it's just really easy? Because I believe if it's not easy, then it's not the answer. So how can we?
I completely agree with that. For starters, I always say, like, when it comes to diet and nutrition, we have so overcomplicated it. Like, it really doesn't need to be difficult at all. But there's all this, again, there's messaging, there's diet culture, there's all these things that have really made this so difficult for us. As well as, access or increased access to fast foods, things like that maybe are an easier option than things that are actually going to nourish us. But it really doesn't have to be difficult. Like I always say, I am a lazy cook. I am the laziest cook. Like I love food. I love eating, but I will do whatever I can to make meals as quickly as possible, as easily as possible, and make them still taste delicious. And some of the things that I do are, I will just chop up a load of veg and stick it on a tray with a piece of fish and put it in the oven. And then I can carry on doing what I'm doing while that's just cooking away in the oven. And then I just get it out and it's ready to go. And the actual like preparation of it takes 10 minutes, maybe, probably not even that sometimes. So, I mean, that's just like a little anecdote from me, but it doesn't have to be complicated. And if I was going to tell you one thing about nutrition to help you improve your health, is not to think about what you need to restrict or what you need to take away. It's what you can add. What have you not got in your diet right now that is going to make you feel better? And okay, that's easy for me to say when I know what food will nourish you, what a balanced diet looks like. But think about this. So first of all, you need to have a balance of proteins, fats, and carbs. I think most people have heard of macronutrients, really important. Your body wants all of those. So don't be scared of carbs, don't be scared of fat. Do some research on this, on what good sources of them are, maybe, because there's too much to go into right now. But yeah, make sure you've got a good balance. And then from there, look at adding in new or different foods that you wouldn't normally eat. So maybe if you're making a chicken salad, see what nuts or seeds or other ingredients you can add that are something that you wouldn't normally have in your diet, because that's going to bring additional nutrients that your body wasn't getting before. If you say you're going to make a tray of vegetables and salmon like I do, what vegetables don't you normally eat? Or what vegetables haven't you had recently? What can you put in there that's again going to bring you that additional nutrition that your body's not getting right now? So I always think it's best to focus on what you're adding, particularly because I think we have a tendency to lean towards cutting calories, lean towards, that's quite often associated with becoming healthy. And actually, what that means a lot of the time is a lot of us aren't eating enough. And that also means we're not getting a lot of the nutrients we need. So I always think it's good to focus on just adding just little bits here and there that are going to bring more variety, more diversity, more nutrition into your plate.
I love it. I love that you say we all eat not enough.
Good news, right?
That's good news. Yes, because I love eating. I really do love eating. I love food. So everything that you said resonated with me. And I'm like, okay, what am I eating? What do I have in my fridge? What do I don't have in my fridge? What do I want in my fridge now? So this is a really good advice. This is a really, really good advice to focus on the positive, like adding stuff instead of the negative, like taking stuff away.
Yeah. Adding things that have got that good nutritional value. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Not two more bags of chips or crisps,
That's not quite what we're going for. But all still very welcome in a good balanced diet. So just more focus on nutrition.
Beautiful. Lauren, thank you so much. This was amazing. There was so much nutrition in this. There was so much nourishing information for us. So tell our audience where they can find you.
So you can find me on Instagram at Lauren Ray Coaching. And also on Facebook. I'm just starting to get a bit more active on there. So Instagram's where I am mainly, if you want more of this.
Awesome. And you also get the links below in the podcast description, or when you're watching us here on YouTube, then you also get that in the description below. Thank you so much for coming here today. And that's it. That's it for today. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying with us for another amazing episode of 52 Weeks of Flow. I'm giving you a virtual high five because you are part of the Flow community, my loves. And if you have 10 seconds, then it would mean the world to me if you would rate and review the show, because that gives me more access to bring on amazing guests like Lauren and to help you create flow in all areas of your life. If you have any questions or suggestions, then please feel free to reach out at bea@superwoman.coach, or you can also reach me at moving_river on Instagram. And until next time, this is episode 49 now. So we have 3 more episodes. So don't miss the grand finale of the first season of 52 Weeks of Flow. And until then, keep shining, keep learning, keep growing, and keep flowing.